Professor Snyder, those words of Vladimir Putin that I just quoted, that apparently is what he wants Russians to hear and believe.
Well, I mean, I'm struck by the incoherence of it all. I mean, the idea that you have to attack a neighboring country, which was no threat to you, on the logic that at some point it had to happen, is pretty unconvincing. I think with time, they're probably going to have to come up with a better story to tell about a war which is heading towards its second month, a war in which tens of thousands of Russian soldiers have not, from which they haven't returned, a war which most of the world sees as an exceptionally cruel kind of action. So there was something odd about this justification. It didn't really sound like much of one.
Will the Russian people notice, the way the American people would notice, a change in the justification list? It used to be denazification, and now it's something else.
I think the general idea that the Russian media have settled around is something like the Ukrainians aren't really a nation. They have somehow provoked us. The hate speech term Nazi is still very consistently applied, but it's applied in a very general way. It doesn't have any content. It's not meant as a specific kind of political criticism. It's basically imperialist language saying they're not really human. You know, they're not really people. They're just Nazis. We can do whatever we want to them. So there isn't really a strong logic here. The Russian people are also being told, of course, that they're winning. And that's an argument which I think is going to be harder to sustain as time goes by.
I want to get your reaction to President Biden for the first time today using the word genocide to describe what Vladimir Putin is doing in Ukraine. President Zelensky tonight tweeting that they were true words. President Zelensky said, calling things by their names is essential to stand up to evil. We are grateful for U.S. assistance provided so far, and we urgently need more heavy weapons to prevent further Russian atrocities. What does President Biden's introduction of the word genocide mean in this war now?
Well, first of all, I think it's plainly true. I mean, the Genocide Convention of 1948 spells out 5 things that you can do in order to commit genocide. One of them was already mentioned on this program. Article 2, Part E, is about the deportation of children and having the children raised in a different social environment. Pretty much every one of those 5 things that you can do to commit genocide has been done in Ukraine at this point. The only questionable part would be the intention. And Mr. Putin keeps delivering evidence that the intention is to make sure that there's no Ukrainian nation and state. He consistently talks about how the Ukrainian nation and state do not really exist. And that is genocide talk. And we see, as we see the evidence of what these towns and villages look like after the Russians pull back, where that kind of hate speech leads. It leads to a situation where soldiers, planned or unplanned, carry out acts of violence, including rape, which, you know, in the end, I think amount to a case for using this word. I mean, I'm not sure what it's an illegal war of aggression. That's one thing. War crimes have certainly been committed, crimes against humanity also. But we save the word genocide for when there's an intention to do something to a people. And Mr. Putin, unfortunately, again and again makes it clear, and other Kremlin publications, including a kind of genocide manual that was published about a week ago, make it clear that there is an intention to prevent the nation of Ukraine from existing into the future.